Where does money really come from? Every hour of every day, a high-security government facility in Washington, D.C. turns ordinary paper into currency. To meet the nation's constant demand, these machines run around the clock, producing over $500 million in physical cash daily. Yet, that's just the tip of the iceberg. The vast majority of money doesn't exist in physical form. It's digital, and this digital amount increases by more than $4 billion every single day. But where does all that money actually come from? Before it ever lands in your bank account, it changes hands countless times, moving through people, businesses, and governments, all after being typed into existence on a computer. We've broken down the entire process to reveal how money is truly created, how it fuels the economy, drives inflation, and ultimately increases personal debt. But to really understand the modern money system, we have to start at the beginning, the origins of money. Thousands of years ago, if a farmer needed a new tool, he might visit the local toolmaker. But if he had nothing to offer in return, the two would simply agree that the farmer owed a debt, a promise to pay back in the future. Because the toolmaker trusted the farmer, that promise became a valid form of payment. Sure enough, a couple of weeks later, the farmer returned with fresh produce as repayment. Over time, people began using commonly valued goods like grain, cattle, or salt for trade, items everyone needed, but that were scarce enough to retain value. Now, the farmer could immediately pay for a tool with a specific amount of grain, making trade more efficient and mutually beneficial. Eventually, though, bartering with bulky or inconsistent items became impractical. This led to the adoption of metal coins, particularly gold and silver, which were durable, compact, and highly valued. Trade blossomed globally, stretching from China to Europe. But carrying large amounts of gold was risky and cumbersome. And this is when the very concept of money began to shift. The birth of loans. In 17th century London, trusted goldsmiths began storing people's gold for a fee. In exchange, they gave out paper receipts, promissory notes that could be redeemed for gold at any time. These notes had no real value themselves, but they became trusted enough to be used in everyday transactions, effectively turning paper into money. Then, something revolutionary happened. Goldsmiths realized that people rarely came to collect their gold. So they began issuing additional notes, fake ones not backed by actual gold, as loans to other customers. So if a goldsmith issued a fake note for 100 gold coins, they didn't lose any gold, yet they gained interest when the loan was repaid. From just one fake note, the economy effectively gained 100 new coins, even though no physical coins were created. As long as everyone didn't demand their gold all at once, the system worked. Replace goldsmiths with banks and paper notes with digital entries, and you have today's money system. The age of digital money and data. Nearly all transactions today are digital. But did you know that data brokers also trade something just as valuable, your personal data? This information can be used for scams, identity theft, and unwanted targeting. Fortunately, you can protect yourself with services like Deleteam, which removes your personal data from hundreds of brokers. Sign up at joindeleteme.com/space and use the code SPACE for 20% off. You'll receive reports showing where your data was found and deleted, and they'll keep working year-round, including protection for your family. Why banks create money? When goldsmiths started creating money out of thin air, it changed everything. Previously, money was limited to what physically existed, circulating between people during transactions. But this led to a serious problem. Imagine 4 people sharing $100. As they trade, the money moves, but eventually it pools unevenly. Some people end up with more, others with less, slowing trade and productivity. Unless everyone paid each other the exact same amount at the same time, the system became unbalanced, an impossible condition in the real world. So how do we fix it? By creating new money. Infusing new money into the economy keeps it running, enabling businesses to grow, products to be made, and technologies to advance. That's why the continuous creation of money is essential. How banks make money from nothing. Contrary to popular belief, banks don't just store your money. When you deposit funds, the bank actually owes you. Your account is a digital IOU, not a pile of cash in a vault. Likewise, when you take out a loan, you owe the bank. And this is where money creation happens. Just like goldsmiths, modern banks don't lose anything when they lend. Instead, they type new money into existence. It's fresh, brand new money, created with a few keystrokes. Once you repay the loan, that money disappears. But the bank keeps the interest. The ripple effects: debt, inflation, and growth. With that loan, maybe you bought a car. The car dealer paid their staff, who then spent that money elsewhere, creating a domino effect of economic activity. None of that value would have existed without the original loan. But here's the catch. If productivity doesn't increase at the same rate as money creation, we get inflation. More money chasing fewer goods drives prices up. To manage this, banks should limit how much money they create. Historically, they were required to keep a portion of actual cash on hand. Today, however, banks have near unlimited power to generate money. If reserves run low, they turn to the central bank. The central bank and the bond loop. To create more money, the government issues bonds, IOUs, that promise steady returns. Banks, corporations, and foreign nations buy these bonds, supplying money that the government spends on services, salaries, and infrastructure. Eventually, the money flows back to banks, but there's a catch. The US government always spends more than it earns, which means it's constantly in debt and pays for it using your tax dollars. In 2024 alone, the government spent nearly $7 trillion, far more than it collected. To cover the gap, it issued more bonds, falling deeper into debt. Believe it or not, this endless cycle of debt is how modern economies function. It's not inherently bad, just inefficient. If more of this money went into productive areas like education, businesses, or infrastructure, the returns could be much greater. Final thoughts and a giveaway. This complex system of digital money, debt, and credit powers everything around us, for better or worse. And now it's giveaway time. Congrats to Kristen, winner of our last prize. This week we're giving away a LEGO Space Shuttle set. To enter, just sign up at the link below, like this video. Leave a comment telling us which part of this money system surprised you the most. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.